coming down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Welcome in, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and we are here in Mugello for round 7 of season 3 of the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship. Our first trip to Mugello in the season. We're back after a couple of weeks across the water. We were at Suzuka last week for the 1 hour sunset race, but it'll be 2 30-minute long races here this evening. My name is Darragh Thacker. Joining me in the commentary booth is Dean Biggles, and Dean, I think we're in for quite an exciting one because Mugello can serve up some good racing, can't it?
Yes, it can. That's it absolutely can. I've seen it before a lot. I've actually had to download the track, believe it or not. I don't used to have that, but I have seen plenty of racing around here. It's going to be fantastic. Look at those pro standings, premier standings at the moment.
Yeah, and Yannis Gilbert does lead. After that DNF last week at Suzuka, of course, it was a nightmare start. Spun around at turn 1 and had another couple of incidents, which means he retired from the race. But he is currently a good 57 points clear of Luke Lucchese at the moment. Christophe Demay following in behind. Ewan Stitchbury and Tristan Darragh, who's on a bit of a rich vein of form at the moment, is in P5. Thomas Pugh, Paul Coleshaw, John Breitenbach, Henry Nackery and Matt Hoyland are in the top 10 with Joe Sparrow and Ryan Otton's currently on the outside looking in. In the Evo standings, Joe Glass, another person who DNF'd last week, but still on the top of the standings. But his lead has been cut to 70 points as James Rankin picked up some more points last time out. Matthew Jones is in P3 with Stephen Donnelly, Gary Mitchell and Robin Aston in the top 6. Nathan Crook, Javier Talavera, James Bostock and Hussein Sarika Dessler find themselves in the top 10, and we've got a couple more looking in. But in the Teams Championship, it is Glass Tech Racing who are still on top, but their lead has been absolutely shattered to just 8 points ahead of RDSA Motorsports. Tristan Darragh and Luke Lucchese with a 1-2 last week, really putting the hammer down, and they're only 8 points off the top of the standings. Aura Motorsports with Christophe Demay and Ewan Stitchbury as well, not far back either. In the Premier instant ratings, Thomas Pugh, John Breitenbach, Ewan Stitchbury, René Stangl and Yannis Gilbert have the cleanest record. While in Evo, it's James Rankin, Matthew Jones, Gareth Newton, Robin Aston and Rob McKee. But this is the grid for the race. We've just had qualifying, and Aidan Neate is going to be on pole. Tristan Darragh is going to be on the front row alongside him. Yannis Gilbert and Luke Lucchese 3rd and 4th, with Henry Nackery and Ryan Ottens in 5th and 6th. Thomas Pugh, Paul Coleshaw in 7th and 8th, with Nathan Crook leading the Evo standings, and John Breitenbach in the top 10. Ewan Stitchbury and Christophe Demay, the two Aura Motorsport cars, are in 12th and 13th, and they're right ahead of Stephen Donnelly and Joe Glass. Javier Talavera, Matthew Jones, Marcel Breitenbach, Matt Barnett, Alex Coenwright and Scott Kostricker in the top 20, with James Bostock, Robin Aston, Russell Jakes and Paul Robson running off the top 24. Then we look back to James Rankin, Gareth Newton, John Ludbrook and Jack Wyborn, with James Pallow, Rob McKee, Daniel Nans, Jamal Gandor, Danny Weir, Chris Keenan and Matt Hoyland rounding out the order with our 35 cars here this evening. So a smaller grid than we're used to in the last few weeks, Dean, but I mean 35, there's still a lot of room for some crazy racing to go on, and still quite hefty, quite chunky Premier and Evo classes, so lots of points up for offer.
You called it exactly, and Aiden, a new one to the top of the timesheets at the moment, 156, and good job for getting through all that. Little bit delayed, apologies about that one. They started a little bit early in what they did for the last one that we did, so, but we got through there at the end. We're going to capture all the action on your screen, of course, and jam-packed action. Matt Hoyland, of course, a lot of work to do back in P35, but you never know what's going to happen. There is the two gentlemen hunting down the Drivers' Championship for the RDSA Sports in P2 and P3. But let's see if Aiden can hold on. And Aiden hates it at the moment here. Like the 157 machine has been on fire of late.
It really has, and he's in that quite nice, I think, Brabham Esports livery. We'll have to see how what he can do. Of course, top 13 reversed in this race for race 2, so don't forget, 13th will start from pole in race 2, but Aidan Neate is going to get us underway very shortly. You can see a couple of cars popping out of the slipstream, but when does Aidan Neate decide to go? It is a long way until the line here at Mugello, as we've seen many starts in the past go slightly wrong, but everyone crawling towards the line. Aidan Neate, when's he going to drop the hammer, get this race underway towards turn 1. The lights are on and they are out, and he is gone very, very quickly. It's not the best start for the breaker. Yannis Albert's already got on the inside into P2. They're going to run down towards the opening corner, of course. A very long run down towards turn 1. It's a 180-degree banked, or slightly banked off camber, I should say, right-hander as they rise the hill, as they all fly through 2, maybe 3 wide in the mid-pack, but it's all bare-headed to Nobrega at the front. Luke Lucchese sitting in behind. Ryan Otton's maybe having a little bit of a look, but he was just getting through on Henry Nackery, as I think he may have slipped down behind Nathan Crook, and yes, maybe a bit of an incident there for Ryan Otton's, as he is tumbling down the order now, as we can see him, going off the road there, and there's a spin in the background as well. And that is someone right at the back, but they're 2-3 wide through the opening chicanes, but a perfect start from Aiden Neat, and he's got exactly what he needed off the line. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant, he did. And Yannis did as well too, of course. He just jumped both of the South African drivers there and stole that P2, give him a bit of a run for his money. Well, try to give the leader a run for money. He doesn't want to get Nate up the road there too far. You know what happens when you start leading these races, don't you? You're gone, and you're gone, and you're gone. Of course, we have 2 of the heat races. This is the first of the heat races at the 30-minute with those pit stops. And look at those cars channeling through there. Nice, smooth sailing, 35 of them. Well, if Alex has gone around. Oh, so hard when there's so many cars, my dear friend, to have a look at. And there it is. You can't miss the Sharkman himself for the Dutch Rumblebees.
Yeah, down at 10-11, that little chicane. Off of the Arabiatas there, so not the best of starts. We've seen a few of them go down the order. Alex is one, Ryan Otton's is another, and I think Henry Nackery slipped down a few positions as well. But here comes Henry Nackery, the Finnish driver, down the inside at the final corner. It's such a long sweeping corner. There's loads of sweeping corners here at Mugello. It is defined by sweeping corners, and you've got to take advantage of them when you can. And Henry Nackery back up into P12 ahead of Joe Glass now, who is hanging on at the moment to that reverse grid pole position. But of course, a long way to go. 30 minutes racing. You're looking at roughly 16 laps or so, I think, in this race. Maybe 17 as Henry Nackery to the inside once again at turn 1. This time trying to get through on Stephen Donnelly, and I think he might just about have the move done as they come towards turn 2 and 3. Stephen Donnelly's still fighting it, but Henry Nackery sweeps through, and he's picking up positions back once again.
There's a big bunch up at the moment. Currently seeing it about P12 and onwards. So there it is. Joe Glass, of course, instead of hanging on, also hanging on, of course, into the the team's championship. So the Glass Tech, of course, is being sliced out slowly, a little bit of those points, of course, to these gentlemen at the moment, Tristan and Luke, running in P3 and P4. But they work together, they strategize together, and let's see how they can pan out. You never see really those two gentlemen that far from each other on a track. They're like Siamese twins.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few drivers that we see often throughout the season, really, that have been relatively close together on track. And I think, as we see now, this is Henry Nackery. He's lost another couple of positions here. He's now behind Javier Talavera, so must be maybe just trying to force the position a little bit too much here. He's got to be careful because he can't find himself outside the top 13. That'll completely ruin his evening. But yeah, coming through now, this long right-hander down at turn 12, and then you come through this little flicky left-right chicane, or right-left, I should say. Oh, no, it is left-right chicane before you come to the final corner. You've just got to keep it all nice and clean in the opening laps. There are lots of incidents that we've seen, and this could be another one here, but Otton's is making his way back up the order.
This is going to get a little spicy and dicey at the moment. I'm saying 3 cars wide, about 4 cars wide. It reminds me of the NASCAR series that I also produce. But further up in the field here, here's Stitchberry, and we know what happens with Nathan, of course, the leader of the Evo class, is getting it done. We're trying to get it done here.
Paul is back up the inside. Can he get this one done? Yes, he can in that monster car. Into 2 and 3. He is up into P7. Nathan Crook. He had a good race last week, didn't he, at Suzuka? Fell away a bit at the end, but we'll have to see if he can finally pick up a win in Evo class after that disappointment last week.
Yeah, but he's always there, isn't he? His qualifying performance is just outstanding. He's there, but it's one thing to qualify, it's another thing. We have another driver. I think that's Scotty. Scotty! Oh dear! Again, Scotty is not having a very, very good race. He's been involved in a lot of early incidents, and therefore, once again, he's going to fight his way back. He's almost plump last. As you can see, Jack will be the one that's probably coming around the corner at the moment there. But further back, there's Ryan Nez, our rather South African driver, is going to look up the inside the contact. I knew that's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. You cannot get it done. Well, you try to get it done there. Are there going to be beef between these two drivers? I don't know. There's been a door banging. Whoa! Our race leader's gone in. Wait, this is not our race leader. This is just completely throwing me off at the moment because that's Aiden. Anyway, apologies about that one. You can see on your graphics it's completely incorrect because Gareth Newton is not leading this race.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a glitch from the
Got me
timing
excited,
system
didn't
there.
it? I was like, what?
No, I know. I was since when was Gareth in the lead? Because
I'm a producer. I just have to click buttons when I see changes on the screens. So go ahead.
That's right. I was going to say, because Yannis Hilbert is really keeping a tight leash away to Neat, as we now see the still Ryan Otton's trying to fight his way through now on Rob McKee. And just up ahead of him is Jamal Gandor. I think Rob McKee's actually got ahead of Ryan Ottens, but Ottens is back down the inside here at the final corner. Going to take this one back, and he will. And Rob McKee's got to be careful of Chris Keenan in behind, who looks keen to get through. There was no pun intended there. I can only apologise. But
Another pun
Ryan
again.
Ottens into the pit lane.
You and your Keen puns, I swear. All season long. And anyway, that's the reason why we don't have our man out there, Mr. Rob himself. He's usually in the chat, isn't he? Because I was like, where is anybody in the chat? Hello, say hello, don't be shy. We love to hear from you. We want to make sure that you can actually hear us. Maybe you might turn around and go, hey, there's no commentators. We can't hear you at all. Well, we would like to know. We're 6 minutes into this race. Pretty sure everything's all good and solid gold out there. But hey, we're all about the interactiveness here at the JP Broadcast Network.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, Rob McKee's going to hope to not be too interactive with the drivers around him because he'd rather just keep it clean rather than hitting everybody left, right and centre, but we'll have to see if he can do that. Paul Collishaw, though, on the back of Ewan Stitchbury, bit of a gap ahead to Thomas Pugh, who's a little bit on his own at the moment, a bit in no man's land, 2.7 behind Luke Lucchese in 4th, but 2 seconds ahead of Ewan Stitchbury in 6th, so he's running his own race at the moment, but we've got a few trains here at the front, with Ewan Stitchbury leading this tight one for P6. Don't count out Luke Lucchese on the back of Tristan Dinnebrega, but remember, they are teammates. They're unlikely to really go at it hammer and tong. But yeah, early on in this race, we've got to think of when pit stops will come. I think Ottens' pit stop is just to try and get him out of the traffic, because then he doesn't have to keep fighting with the guys. He can just pound the lap times in and try and pick up the positions on the undercut.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well too. Use your pit stops wisely. So you're seeing a huge battle here at the moment, and I think that might have been Jack going off into the grass or Rob going off to the grass. Somebody went off into the green stuff at the moment there and had to saddle back onto the track there. Pointing in the right direction is crucial. The two South African drivers are going to do their thing. We know that they work together. They'll probably box together as well. We spoke about that when we do have the opportunity of speaking to them on the podium. Further back of the field here, there's another battle between two teammates. Not actually between two teammates. Yes, it is. A few other drivers heading the pit road. We have Matt Hoyland heading the pit road. Matt Barnett. So the Matties, you know, how many times we've seen them race together, and now we're going to see them race together in pit road. It's going to be interesting. Rob in there. James, the boss man, Bostic, is also in the pit road. And Scotty had to get those that repair, of course, from a little bit of damage from Scotty going off track. But no really hard impacts into the fence right now. There, my friend, Darragh.
Yeah, I mean,
Dazza?
thankfully.
Yeah, I'm calling you Dazza.
I mean, there are some dangerous corners here. I mean, you think of the Arabiatas. There's been many an airplane crash in real life around those corners. If you lose the rear end, you are going to be flying into a wall, but no one has done that so far. It's been relatively nice and clean, just a couple of bumps and bruises for some of these guys, but Paul Collishaw is hoping to get through cleanly. Oh, but he's gone very, very deep there, and Nathan Crook says thank you very much, but Paul's not quite done with it yet. He's still around the outside. They'll come in towards turns 13 and 14, but Nathan Crook is going to be ahead. They're still side by side. You couldn't see Nathan Crook there for a second because he was just right on the peripheral vision of Paul Collishaw, but down the inside comes the Premier driver into the final corner, and he looks like he's retaken that position. But all the while, Ewan Stitchbury, he's run up the road. He's now nearly a second clear of these two.
I'm wondering if Nathan kind of yielded a little bit on that one because, you know, remember we're talking about two different classes completely here. And he knows he likes fighting with the top guns here. And he will fight with the top guns. But at some point, he will also realize that it's going to be too much if he loses it all. And he's going to lose the inside position as well, too. Because there is Sean. Sean has gone in there and stole that one away. So I don't know what's going on, but, you know, you got to see the checkered flag. That's the key.
Oh, absolutely. And because, of course, there is that reverse grid element, especially if you're near the front, you need to try and be as careful as you can be. I mean, the likes of Henry Nackery, Stephen Donnelly, Javier Talavera, one mistake here could put you from scoring some all-right points to... Oh, no, scoring some very good points from starting near the front in race 2 to scoring mediocre points, not being as high up as you could in the championship. And there's, of course, only 2 rounds to go after this week. We've got Kota in 7 days' time, and then we're at Bathurst for the season finale in 2 weeks. So every point is going to be gold dust at this stage of the season. Of course, top 10 get your trophies, but your championship winners are going to get all the plaudits as we head in towards season 4 in the coming months. So that's what they're all going to be thinking about. Nathan Crook is hoping to take a win here to try and close his gap to the championship leader, and he's doing well at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, so absolutely is. And going back to that gold dust, it's gold bars at that point, my friend, when you get to the end of it. They're heavy and they weigh a lot. And, of course, there's trophies that are available, too, for these drivers this season. And, of course, we have sign-ups coming out for the next season. Hello out there, of course. I can't read your name, but he says, cheering for Nakarari, I think it is. Phil, across the ponds, always around. Hello, Phil. Dazza and I in the booth there, as everybody's saying. And Mac Barnes is out there in the chat. There it is. So this man leading and has been leading. Yeah, this is keeping him at best. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. And, of course, we do know that Tristan and Luke will be working together and strategizing it. But there it is. So you wanted your man at the moment. There is the Finnish driver. And I'd really hate these graphics, unfortunately, for the pit lane entrance. But there he is. So shouting out for him. He's going to drop down there, but he's going to be one of the first drivers up in the top 10 or so to get that pit stop over and done with, which we expect the rest of them. And that's still the action. So the leaders hunting each other down. We can't miss Yanis's pink rims, can we? But they're working together, aren't they, these two?
Yeah, and Aiden and Yanis Gilbert are good friends, I do believe. And Tristan Darragh and Luke Tracy are teammates. But it's kind of... even though Aiden and Yanis Gilbert are not teammates, they're not going to be at each other's throats as much as... they could be. And the fact that Aiden isn't in the championship battle either, he's only done 1 race at Le Mans, which he did win, he's not going to be fighting for the championship here. So Jans Beck can just afford to sit and wait behind because he's still gaining points on the likes of Dino Brager and Lucchese, so it's still working out for him at the moment. But of course with the reverse grid, these guys are going to be P10, 11, 12 and 13 at the moment, but we'll see here. Russell Jakes fighting it out with Matt Hoyland as Matt Hoyland gets through, I think, on the Evo driver. We'll try and chase after Ryan Ottens as well, who of course, remember, pitted early. We'll have to see how his undercut is doing, but you know, I think we're in a bit of a holding pattern. When we get to the pit stop phase, we might see a little bit of action near the front.
This is the closest that I think Yanis has got to Aiden since the start of this race, and he is wielding him in. And remember, the 2 South African Duro teammates will be working together. They'll be watching this one. They'll be strategizing on this one, pondering themselves as to when to go on a pit road. Christopher Demay's gone in and Stephen Donnelly has gone in. You can see on your graphics on your left-hand side, but I want to keep an eye on this battle because we don't know when they're going to go in. And here it is, Aiden, for the first time in this race, under a bit of pressure from that man behind him, Yanis, leading the championship as well.
Yeah, he has been much more in control than he is currently. Of course, he DNF'd back in Suzuka with some 150-odd points clear at the front. Now that's been cut to much nearer 50, so he's a little bit of jeopardy, but he still does have that comfortable position in the championship. If he can extend that once again here this evening, it just further strengthens his position at the top of the tree with only 2 rounds to go. But anything can happen at Bathurst, especially at the top of the mountain at Skyline. So we will have to see if he can win it by then, or whether he's going to have to get a result at Bathurst to take the title home. But either way...
Yeah, I can't wait when he goes to Bathurst. But the thing is, you want to have the maximum amount of points before you go into Bathurst, because there's a pretty good chance that there will be that pile up, as you mentioned, at the top of the mountain. That's going to be the real spin in the mix there for a lot of these drivers. There's going to be an opportunity for a lot of them to gain some crucial points there in the dying stages of the final finale of the championship. But you don't want to go like that. You want to be a maximum points, because you've got to expect at the end of the day that you might not get a good result in Bathurst. It's as simple as that. And well, best way to break that one up is to get a good result here today, at least. And you can see Paul Kolishov still battling it out, everybody. He started in P8, he's in P8, but that's the thing. This man, just a little bit ahead of him, is getting the job done, keeping him ahead. And I think the South Africans are slowly I think Yanis made a little bit of a mistake trying to chase that leader in. Yeah.
It's going to be important as well for the likes of Dino Brager and Lucchese not to allow Albert to feel like he has some kind of... to feel like he's in a comfortable position. They've got to keep that pressure on on Yannis Albert to maybe force him into a little error. Of course, not definitely going to force him into an error, but if you just keep that little edge of jeopardy, then it's possible that they may force him into going wide slightly at a corner, like coming up here as we come through Arrabbiata 1 and 2. If you go slightly wide through Arrabbiata 1, it'll set you up awfully for Arrabbiata 2, and then you come into the braking zone down in towards turn 10 and 11 at Scarperia and Palagio. So their opportunities are still there for Dinnebrega and Lucchesi to try and make the move, even if they can't fully push their car alongside. We saw it at Suzuka at Spoon, didn't we, a few times, where a driver would stick a nose up the inside and they wouldn't go for the move, but they kind of scare their opponent off the road.
You get chopped off, exactly, get your nose, like James would say here in the JP Broadcasting Network, you put your nose in and you get chopped off like a plastic surgeon. At the moment, well, Tristan is sizing up a P2 with Yannis up the road there, the championship leader, and of course Aiden Nate has been leading since the start of this race. Yannis was the one that jumped both these South African drivers, so he's looking to hold on, but you know that they're going to be working together. Look at this shot down the main straightaway to start another lap around here, but it's not about laps, it's about time, because time is ticking. We're just crossed over the halfway point, and there is you going to the pit road. So Yannis has jumped into the pit road, so has Tristan, and I do apologize once again, these pit cameras are hot. This is the first time I actually had downloaded this track before, so I have no chance to even change any of the cameras if possible. They've all jumped in there. Aiden stayed out. Aiden's the only one that has stayed out. Everybody in the top 12 outside of him are all boxing. So let's see if that undercut's going to work at all. Aiden Nate at the moment, the one that's has to come in soon. And does he have traffic up there already? Does.
Yeah, that might come to haunt him a little bit, but James Rankin also stayed out, so it just depends how quickly the likes of Albert and Lucchesi can catch, but that's a 4-second gap, so I don't think that that's going to be too much hassle for them with maybe a lap or two of an undercut. But Aiden Neat, yeah, probably going to pit this lap forwards. Traffic goes into the gravel. Aiden Neat just about follows them in, just dipping, I think, 2 left wheels into the gravel there. So no harm done, really. Maybe losing a tenth or 2, but nothing major. And Aiden Neat, I'm sure, will pull into the pit lane at the end of this lap. But yeah, he's got that big gap to the cars behind, but it's going to feel like a long time in the pit lane, especially when none of your rivals are in the pit lane. It doesn't feel as long when you can see the people you're racing with, but when you just know that they're going to be flying towards you, it feels so much longer, doesn't it?
It could make it better for him as well, too, because he could be down a pit road by himself. And you know how difficult it is if you are a driver here in iRacing. You got to see your lollipop person, and because everybody basically ghosts inside of everybody when you go down a pit road, you see now he's got a clear pit road all by himself. He's got to get this clear and precise, hit that speed limit, does it job, and the rest of the crew, of course. James, you said stayed out, 23 positions game, but more likely where Yannis is on the track map. Have a look at the number 2, as you can see, into the 3rd sector. Has Aiden Nate done enough? That's the key. Has he done enough here? Hit your pit box, my friend. Oh, little lock up. Will it be enough? You'll be in and out pretty quickly. Yannis coming down the pit straight away now. So we shall see. Comes back out as Yannis. He's got it. He's got it. Big time. Easy.
Yes, but of course, because the acceleration phase all the way down this straight, so Yannis is going to be gaining. The gap is 4. It might come down, but actually, yeah, he really has put his foot down. Maybe these guys lost a little bit of time in the pit lane, possibly, but that gap was, what, half a second or so before the pit stop phase. Now it's up to 3. So big moves there by Aiden Neat to really cement his lead here in the opening race at Mugello. But if he stays where he is, he'll start from P13 in race 2, and he'll have a lot of work to do to win the race from there, especially coming through the likes of Yannis, Luke and Tristan. But a good drive so far from Thomas Pugh at the moment in 5th, ahead of Christophe Demay. But we'll have a look at this battle for P7. Ewan Stitchbury, he's been under pressure for the last, what, 10-15 minutes really, hasn't he?
He's got to be loving the battles in there, because it's not a lonely race for him. He's just getting it done in the middle of the pack there. And Christopher, you mentioned, well, the Christopher right up here at the moment, he's got in 6 positions, but just behind him is that gaggle of cars that are all battling together. That's one of the closest battles you're going to see, really, inside the top 15 at this point. So, but Aiden Nate, I thought even with that little bit of, like, the mistake from the other driver that he was about to lap, might have thrown him off a little bit when he's trying to put the hottest lap of all of your racing Heat 1. under your belt. And he still got it done because that's the key. So the only driver, remember, really, in the top 10 that elected to stay out one more lap, well, looking strong and solid. 3.9 second gap at the moment of Yanis. That's amazing.
It's just extending, isn't it? It's such an impressive drive at the moment from Aiden Lee. But again, like I mentioned, he's going to have to come back from P13. You can lead every lap in race 1. We've seen Yanis Albert do it before. But when you get into race 2, that's when problems could start to arise.
What do you want him to do? I mean, he's going to either win a race or he's not going to want to drop back to P13. I don't know what you mean, but a race driver at this point, that close up, you've got to win the race, don't you? But you've got to be struggling, of course, as you mentioned, to come back in your reverse grid.
Oh yeah, exactly. They're not gonna give up the win, but they're gonna know that even though they've got the win now, that they can have Aiden can have 10 minutes of very nice driving, just casual, like a Sunday afternoon with the roof down. But in 20 minutes time, when you start P13, you're going to have to make moves. Oh, that's going to be wide from Human Stitchbury in the opening chicane of the lap. And it's going to be Paul Colishaw, I think, around the outside, trying to make the move. No, that's John Breitenbach, I should say, making the move on Human Stitchbury. And it is Paul Colishaw looking for it as they come into the second chicane at 4 and 5. They'll dive down towards Casanova at turn 6. But Human Stitchbury looking for the move back. It's going to be tight and tasty between these two. But I think he's got it back, actually. Yes, he has. They're now going to come into the Arabiatas, and Stitchbury's ahead, and Henry Nackery, he might come through on John Breitenbach as well. John Breitenbach has lost 3 positions in 2 corners.
Are you out there in the chat there? You're cheering on for the man. You are cheering on for the 122 machine. He's lost 4 places, but he hasn't lost some pace with the Black Horse Sim Racing driver, because his battle around the outside, I don't think he can get it done. There's also another battle brewing up the road there. I might have to switch over to that one, because that's the P2 battle. Gentlemen, choreograph your overtaking. No, we're going to stay here for just a little bit more. Wow, door banging. Love it. And Paul is holding on tight here. Paul wants to maintain this position. And Stitchbury, God, what a fantastic job. Stitchbury just bided his time, actually. And it's good to see him because he's usually involved in some of these wars of late. But it goes to show you his true pace. But further up at the moment, here's a challenge for P2. And Luke's been hunting down Yanis for some time now.
He's going to send it towards turn 1. He's going to look for the move, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it. And Yanis Albert just about leaves enough room for the look to the inside. Just maybe now making the move. Luke Lucchese, he's done it. He's caught Yanis Albert a little bit off guard there, coming through turns 2 and 3. And Luke Lucchese is now ahead of Yanis Albert. And he's now going to try and chase after Aiden Lee. It's going to take a lot. 5 seconds in what's 4 or 5 laps is going to be nigh on impossible for Luke Lucchese. But that's a massive move for P2 in the championship.
That was absolutely brilliant. He sized him up for some time. He was getting close on one of the previous laps, I think it was. But because we were focusing on the other battle, I thankfully did it at the right time at the right moment. We didn't have to go back to the replays to even look at that one. So good job to him. Yeah, I'd say P1's out of the grabs on this first heat race. But he's going to be excited to get that position gained. Because remember, he got in 2 positions, actually. Because he started in P4. And now the man is looking at a solid P2 in the Champagne. And here we go. So Paul's thinking about a little bit of Stitchbury, who's gained 4 places at the moment, P7. This is a battle for P7.
It is, but the name that has got ahead of this battle is Christophe Demay. Christophe Demay, I believe, has been the highest point scorer in the last 2 weeks where we've done these 2 30-minute races. And he started down in P12, but he's found his way up to P6 at the moment, and he's doing very well indeed. He just shows that he's the best example, I think, in the league, that being consistent over the 2 races, you don't have to win either of them, but being consistent over the 2 means you can pick up the most amount of points. There are increased points in race 2 than race 1. But we'll have to see if he can pull off the same feat currently start from, I believe, P8. Yes, P8 in race 2. We'll have to see if he can come through, but he's on the back of Thomas Pugh. But there are some good battles brewing, aren't there? A couple of laps to go. Paul Colishaw is going to have a great slipstream now down towards turn 1, isn't he?
He will, absolutely. He needs to try to get it done. He wants this, he's smelling this P7. And he has a gaggle at cars because he knows I've got to get on with it. I had to get on with it because the other drivers behind are going to be setting it up on the inside there. Was that Henry? Oh, bold and brave into turn 1. But that's what it's all about. These are bold and brave drivers here at the Evolution Sim Racing.
They are, but he couldn't quite get it done. Just about. I mean, I really thought he was going to get that move done. Maybe a little bit of door banging to seal it. But no, good defending from Paul just to keep himself in P8. The guy at the back of this train, Nathan Crook, It's going to be hoping that there isn't too much time lost by these guys, because the car behind him directly on track is Stephen Donnelly, who's P2 in class, in the Evo class, and he'll be hoping to keep the whole 50 points for the win in Evo class by staying ahead of him. So he'll be hoping that these guys don't fall back too much, but I think he'll be happy just to sit where he is for now, because he'll still be picking up maximum points in the class, which is the most important thing for him. As we see, Paul maybe look for it on Ewan, but Ewan taking a more sweeping line through turns 10 and 11, and he stays ahead for now.
If I was Nathan, I'd hang back and just watch this from the back, because he has that gap of 3.3 and change with 5 minutes to go is plenty. But the main thing for him is that I wouldn't hang too close to this pack, because if they do tangle, you don't want to be that innocent party. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time, knowing you've got maximum points in Heat 1. So just hang. Yeah, I think he's a racing driver. He still wants to hang with him. He's clearly got the pace, but at this point, gonna play the long game, the strategy game. As you can see, the 24 machine moving out of the way, saying, "Go up for it, boys." I don't want to be a part of it, but I don't mind watching it. Here we go.
Here comes Henry then, down towards turn 1. He's got much more of the car alongside into the opening corner, but Paul is giving him a big almighty squeeze to the inside as they rise up through turn 1. He's going to have the outside line for 2, and he's not going to be able to get it done. It's good defending again from Paul Colashaw. He squeezed Henry as far as he could to the inside, and it's kept the position for him. I think if he gave Henry some more space, it would have opened the corner up a little bit for the Finnish driver and allowed him to get a much better run through turn 1. But as it is, Paul is still ahead and defending incredibly well there to keep hold of P8 as he tries to get through on New and Stitchbury. I think the problem here for Paul is that he's getting close in the middle and final sector, and then he's kind of getting close in the middle sector, I'd say, and then losing it in the final and coming under pressure as we see a spin for James Bostock.
Oh,
it's
the
a
boss
half
man! And that's just unfortunate. He was in the middle of the spin there. I think Alex or somebody has tangled with him. So I don't like to show those crashes very often, but I'm going to show you, boss man. I will show you when you'll crash. He's all the way currently in pit road at the moment in P30. But remember, another race coming up at the moment. This is where it's going to be heated up. I would be super cautious once again if I was in the racing cockpit right now of Nathan, because see those 3 cars up the road? They're battling hard and fast. But Nathan, of course, he doesn't have to so much. Look at the grip tower. He's got it. He has a 3.2 second gap over Stephen in his class. So, hey, take it home, my friend. That's what you're racing at the moment, but these other drivers, they're just racing in their class and they want maximum points.
But is Paul close? He definitely is closer than he has been to Ewan Stitchbury. He's probably as close as Henry Nackery normally is, or has been on the last couple of laps. Can he get enough of a slipstream to try and make the move stick here? I think we're going to have this lap and one more before the end of race 1 as Paul really dives late onto the brakes, looks up the inside, but he's nowhere near close enough to really go for the move, and he will have to stay back in P8 as he works his way through this opening sector. You've got to be methodical here at Mugello. Through 2 and 3, got to be patient on throttle as the car rotates its way through, same through 4 and 5, but Paul is all over the back of you in here, and he's just desperate to get through.
You said floating. He's floating. He's floating with danger, of course. He's floating with the walls. He's floating with potentially losing a P8 position, these drivers, or P9 or P7, where you want to be. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. Christopher DeMay, as you said, doing a solid job right up the road there. 5 seconds and change from this pack. So he's lonely. He doesn't even get the spotlight too often, but that's okay. I've always said if your driver don't get the spotlight, that means you're doing a good solid job there. And each to their own. And we'll see how that pans out for the reverse grid later on. But look at this. This is where the action pack is. I don't think Trishan's going to bring... Oh, Trishan may be closing in. Trishan is closing in currently on Yanis. So this is another one of this team that could perhaps even snatch the Constructors leaderboard if these 2 drivers get a fantastic job, because Yanis, again, under pressure here. And this is interesting.
Yeah, Tristan, let's see. Is he close enough down in towards turn 1? This is the final lap of race 1 then. There's only one more chance in turn 1. He's going to send it. He's going to just send the car to the inside. Tristan doesn't fight this one too hard, and Tristan is up and into P3 now, picking up as many points as he can. Maybe Yanis is looking at a better starting position in race 2, of course. Increased points in race 2, so I'm not too sure,
Wow.
but Tristan is up into P3, and Yanis has slipped back here.
That's
As
the
we now
same.
see Henry to the inside. Is he going to be able to make it? No. And we are on the final lap for this battle as well, of course, so we'll have to see if anybody makes a late send here.
Yeah, this is where you can make a late send here. This track, as you can look at the track map, there's plenty to go here. I don't think there'll be too much of a change between P2 and P3. Aiden's definitely got this one in the bag. We'll switch to him in a minute, but I want to see if there's any late gamblers, perhaps, here, thinking, all right, I get a few extra points if I can get that position. You can also lose a ton right now if you get it all wrong.
Very much lose everything. Particularly with this reverse grid. I mean, you can lose a very good starting position in race 2. I mean, Nathan Crook at the back of this train currently starting in P3. So you won't want to throw that away. And even for these guys up here starting, what, P5, P6, P7, around there, you really don't want to throw that away. You want to start as high up as you can. But Aiden Neat is going to be starting in P13. He has led every single moment of this race. He pitted after everybody else, which meant that he has led all 30 minutes and a little bit more from start to finish in his Brabham esports car, and it's a fantastic result from Aiden Neat. He follows up that win at Le Mans with a win here in race 1 at Mugello, and it's going to be Luke Lucchese who follows him in P2. A very good result for the man in the RDSA car, and Yanis Albert, Tristan Dinnebrega, sorry, I should say, not too far behind, ahead of Yanis Albert. But those top 4, they were really in a class of their own, weren't they, Dean?
Yeah, they were, but I give it to Aiden. Aiden for sure. He got the launch off the start, which is always an easy thing to do. Of course, could go time it perfectly. And then on top of it, he was up the road. He's come in Brabham, of course. Hey, well, Australia. Hello. Even though he's not represented from Australia, but of course the Brabham Motorsports is a key significant part of motorsports in Formula 1 and so forth. But got it done. And I don't know what happened to Yanis. It's quite interesting. Yanis has pace, and but then again the South Africans took it to him, bring it to him, got past him, and that will definitely flip it up a little bit for that reverse grid. And of course those battles in the middle, isn't it? We're going to go to those results in just a second. Still a few more drivers cruising their way around this lovely circuit there. And unfortunately, as you can see, like the likes of Matt Barnett and Scott will be down in the pit road there with those repairs. Bossman himself, 31. A few losses. But that's the beauty of we have another race. I have to give it actually to one of my favorite drivers is Matt Hoyland. Matt Hoyland finished in P18. He started plump last. So whatever it was of his qualifying performance, that's a big gain to get through a lot of cars. 17 cars, my friend, to come back in the midfield.
Well, if he can gain 17 positions in race 2, you never really finish, won't you?
Yeah,
he'll win
exactly.
the race. So he'll be hoping to replicate that, but it's going to take a lot to do, because I think these guys at the front 4 in that race were very, very much in a class of their own. I think we've got one more car to go. No, they're all across the line as they get into a warm-up session between the races.
Something happened, unfortunately, out there with iRacing, because I had the results for 1 second to show you. I clicked on the button, but unfortunately, it just went away. I think it's because they took so long to get across the line. Gentlemen out there, pay attention, please, in the Evolution Sim Racing. Don't take so long to get across the line, because now we didn't get time to show those results. Oh, maybe I can figure it out. See if we can get it done. Ah, yes, I can.
There we
Over
go.
to you, my friend.
Aiden Neat then is your winner here in round 1 at Mugello. Luke Lucchese and Tristan Dinnebrega, the 2 RDS esports drivers, are 2nd and 3rd. Yanis Albert in 4th for Le Penny Racing, and he will start higher up than his 3 competitors, you'd say, in this race. Thomas Pugh 5th in a very good result for him. Christophe Demay in 6th, continuing his consistent performances with Ewan Stitchbury holding everybody off in P7. Paul Coblishaw, Henry Knackery and John Brayton back finish 8th, 9th and 10th, with Nathan Crook taking home that win in Evo class. Stephen Donnelly and Joe Glass finish off the reverse grid order, meaning that Joe Glass will start from pole, but the driver who finished 4 tenths behind him, Javier Talavera, will start from P14. Marcel Brighton back in 15th, with Ryan Ottens recovering to 16th, and Matthew Jones back in 17th. Matt Hoyland, Paul Robinson, James Ranking in the top 20. Jamal Gandor and Daniel Nans finishing just shy of a minute off the leader, with James Pallow, Jack Wyborn, John Ludbrook, Russell Jakes and Robin Aston over a minute back. And then we scroll through to our final finishers. It's Rob McKee, Danny Weir, Chris Keenan, James Bostock, Alex Conradt, Gareth Newton, Matt Barnett, and I think Scott Kostrick was the final one, but I don't think he completed many laps at all. But that is also from 14th down your grid for race 2. But I think before we get into race 2, Dean, we've got a few minutes. We can show this here exactly. We have got the season 4 race calendar already sorted, and I'm very much looking forward to this. We're going to get going on the 14th of March. So what? That's 6 weeks time then from now. No, that's not. That's 5 weeks time from now. My apologies. 5 weeks time. We're going to be in Interlagos, so a pretty short changeover between the seasons. I think we finish our last round at Bathurst, and then immediately the week after is the next pre-season race. So we're not going to mess around, are we, between the seasons? But that calendar, Dean, there are some good-looking tracks on there.
Oh yeah, it's obviously Interlagos, Coda, and all that sort of stuff. But this is going to be absolutely exciting, as you mentioned there. That was for the Americas UK. This is a race calendar, of course, for season 4. So that's going to be a little bit different than what we currently have for our season. I think I actually overrid that one, so I do apologize. A little bit jumping the gun on that one, aren't I, at the end of the day? But one thing I'm not jumping the gun on is that for season 4, for the preseason, we'll start Thursday, the 29th of February. And championships, trophies, and all that sort of personalized trophies for the top 10 drivers. We've gone through this before, haven't we? But this goes to show how much effort everybody does here in the Evolution Sim Racing. And, of course, big shout out to the boss man himself of James.
Yeah, but Dean, there's something on here that I'm quite excited for. You can see there are 3 championship classes. We're adding a class here for next season. We've got the Premier and the Evo class, but we're adding an Elite class in for those with much higher iRacing. So the likes of Aiden Neat, I think Aiden Neat, Tristan Dinnebrager, Yannis Ulbert, Lucchesi, Nakari, Pugh, Colashaw, Breitenbach, among others. I think there's Stitchbury and Demai. They would be, and Paul Robson, would be in the GT3 Elite class. Premier class moves down a little bit in terms of the necessities or the requirements to be in that division, and then Evo, of course. But 3 tiers, it's gonna be more exciting. We've got 3 championships to watch, Dean.
I think that, this is the thing, but the GT3 Elite, it's 2200 iRacing. But you got to look at the likes of Yannis, 6,000 iRacing. Christopher DeMay, 4.2k. Trishan, 4.3k, 3.4k for the rest of the drivers. Of course, it has to spread out evenly. Of course, and Luke, of course, 3.8k. So I don't know if you could even go to a 4th, like a gold class. I mean, Elite, what's better than Elite? Elite's probably the best, isn't it? Or Platinum, yeah. A Platinum class. Then again, that would only be 5 drivers, I would say, at best, because the rest of the field are pretty spread around the 2k mark.
Yeah, I mean, another, something to say on that. Nathan Crook, who's just won the Evo race, would be in the Premier class, but Joe Glass would stay in the Evo class based on their iRating. So that mixes it around a little bit. People change who they're racing against directly in terms of the championship, and I'm looking forward to it because the races that we've got, I mean, particularly starting at Interlagos, that is surely going to be a cracking one. But here's the grid for race 2 here at Mugello this evening before we get too ahead of ourselves, before we start season 3 in 5 weeks' time. It's Joe Glass and Stephen Donnelly, P1 and P2, with Nathan Crook making it an Evo 1, 2, and 3. They're the only Evos in the top 13, as we've got John Breitenbach, Henry Nakari, Paul Colashaw, Ewan Stitchbury, Christophe Demai, Thomas Pugh, and Yannis Ulbert inside the top 10. Tristan Dinnebrager and Luke Lucchesi are going to be on the 6th row together, and that's going to be Aiden Neat back in P13. We'll have to see how those guys can come through. Yannis, Tristan, Luke, and Aiden. Then we've got Javier Talavera in 14th, Marcel Breitenbach in 15th, with Ryan Ottens, Matthew Jones, Matt Hoyland, Paul Robson, and James Rankin inside the top 20. It's Jamal Gandor, Daniel Nand, James Pallow, and Jack Wyborn inside the top 24. We've got one more screen to get through. John Ludbrook, Russell Jakes, Robin Aston, Rob McKee, Danny Weir, Chris Keenan, and then it'll be James Bostock, Alex Conrads, Gareth Newton, Matt Barnett, and Scott Kostrick, who'll be starting at the back. We'll have to see how far up he can find himself in this race. You feel that he may be a little bit out of position being right at the back of the field, but, I mean, this is hopefully going to be a cracker.
Not necessarily, because you had to look at the fact that you had the likes of... Who was it? Matty, wasn't it? Matty. They got his weight in there. Anyway, we have to go live back to the pictures, and here we go. The pace car is there currently at the moment. Joe Glass, of course. Now, remember, just quickly, I'll switch this over for just 1 second. There's the Glass Tech Racing team, but you know the RDSA finishing 1 and 2, so second and third. Well, they're gonna hurl the points out here. So it's up to Joe Glass and the Glass Tech Racing team. Hold off, get some serious points, and keep your championship standings alive.
Yeah, they're coming under a bit of pressure from the RDSM. Sorry, I was just choking on water. They're coming under pressure from the RDSA team, so I think Joe Glass is going to have to try and do everything he possibly can to pick up as many points as he can. It's going to take a lot of defence, but we've seen the likes of Ewan Stitchbury defend very valiantly for the entire second half of race 1. We'll have to see if Joe Glass can repeat that kind of feat. As you can see, all the cars flowing through the chicane at turns 13 and 14. They'll come through turn 15, and then we'll see Joe Glass get this one underway. We might see some early pit stops from the likes of Neat, Lucchesi, Dinnerbrega, Allbear. Maybe try and get out of the train, set some clean lap times and get an undercut so that they don't have to do too much fighting. We will see. Joe Glass is going very slowly.
Those car pills
they
in.
all are.
Here we go, my friend. Call another one here. Welcome along to round 7. Go ahead.
It's a long way to the line as we're going to see them trundle and trundle and trundle. They're all going to get onto the straight before we get this race going. Let's see, when do the lights come on and when do the lights go out? Joe Glass is watching intently. They're on, and Joe Glass sees them out just about. There's a long hold now as we all get underway, and it's a good start from Joe Glass. John Breitenbach getting a very good launch as well on the back of, I think that was Stephen Donnelly, who's had a nightmare start. They're 3 wide down towards turn 1. Joe Glass, though, he's away. He is absolutely flying at the front as Henry Nackery looks down the inside. John Breitenbach trying to go around the outside at the opening corner as we see the likes of Yannis Aubert with those pink wheel rims going around the outside as well. But as they come into this opening chicane, Joe Glass leads them very nicely away from Nathan Crook and Henry Nackery.
Far so good, I have to say. Actually, pretty good. Lots of nice battles there, trying to get some gainers at the moment. There you can see Nathan's up at P1, position gain, of course, and P2, actually. And Henry out there for the Henry support as well. He's holding in tight there for the Black Horse Sim Racing team in P3. The rest of the field, so far, Stephen Donnelly was the one that really did lose a couple positions back in P9. But guess what? Good thing about it, you got 29 minutes to go.
Yeah, lots of time to recover for these guys. It's all a little bit wide from John Breitenbach as they make their way through the Arabiatas. As we see Henry Nackery maybe looking for the move here, and Nathan Crook just up ahead of this. But they're going to go side by side here. You can just about see it at the top of your picture, and here it is. Nathan Crook defending here from Henry Nackery, and Joe Glass is saying long may it continue, because he's just being allowed to stretch his legs at the front, but they're going to go side by side through this long right-hander turn 12 at Corantayo. But I think Joe Glass, oh no, sorry, Nathan Crook, I thought he was going to hold on, but Henry Nackery, very nicely done. Got the position, he danced around the outside there, and he has got himself up into P2, and will try and chase after Joe Glass in the lead, and here comes John Breitenbach for P3 as well.
And you got to remember, these are different classes that they're racing in. You're talking about the top 3, well, Joe Glass and Nathan are in different classes. So Henry's in the mix here at the moment. We have a couple of drivers. So there it is. The South Africans have gone in early, actually. And Yannis, someone keep an eye on this one, but they have gone in early. We've seen this before in strategies there, Dazza. And it looks like they're going to do it again.
Yeah, like I said just before the start, we might see them come in. Interestingly, Aiden has stayed out. Maybe that might be a little bit of a mistake there for Aiden, because he's just going to get caught up behind this train. I mean, as fast as he can go, as we see, I think that's Nathan Rook going slightly wide. He's just going a little bit slower than he could be behind him. Stitchbury going for the move, though, down the inside. Is he going to be able to pull this one off around the outside at the second part of the chicane? Oh, he's just about going to keep it out of the gravel, but down the hill they come. It's going to be difficult to make the move around the outside here. He's going to be able to hold his foot in. Yes, he is. What a move there from Aiden Neat up into P6. But he'll have lost time by making that move to his competitors who have got some clean air on their own.
Yeah, but Aiden Nate has made 7 positions since he dominated the Heat 1, and he is dominating this one at the moment. 7 positions gained in literally a lap and change? Give it to this man. He is on a rampage. He's loving this track. Round 7, of course, here at the Evo. You keep an eye out for that, man. 6,000 I rating. That's nothing you can get out of a cornflakes box.
Yeah, Aiden is, he's handy in a real life racing car as well as a fake car on a sim rig. So he's a man of many tricks, but we'll have to see if he can find his way to the front, or will he pit this lap. We will see. Does he dive in? Because, of course, his rivals, you'd say, have come into the pit lane. But he might be just wanting to pull off some moves. Just have a little bit of fun. Of course, not in the championship battle. Not really having to think about strategy. And that might be what he's doing here.
Yeah, thinking at the front of the road there. Here it is. So here's Henry. And I wonder how much Joe Glass is going to put a fight up. I think he's going to let him go. He has to let him go. I think so as well. More of Joe Glass's problem, of course, is Nathan. Because in class, they're the two that are battling each other. So I don't think that Joe's going to lift and allow anybody else past him in the same class. And Nathan, my friend, if you want to get past Mr. Joe Glass right now, you're going to have to do it the hard way. You're going to have to see difficult. Clearly now. There you go. If you're talking about Glass. I was waiting for that pun. Go.
It's going to be difficult, though, to make moves here, especially if you're similar pace. I mean, we've seen Stitchbury hold up quite a few drivers. I mean, I saw in chat that he put that the understeer and the oversteer in the Merc is awful. So,
I don't want to hear your excuses out there, my friend. You chose the car, and it's your setups anyway. I'm going to be mean, aren't I? They'll be like, yes, Biggles, never seen you on the track. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we'll have to see if these guys, the likes of Joe Glass and Nathan Crook, end up putting up a bit of a fight, or whether they just fight each other. But if they do start to fight each other, is that going to slow the progress of the likes of John Breitenbach, the likes of Paul Collishaw, who are kind of witnessing this battle, but can't really get involved, because otherwise they might make it 3 wide, which is just absolute pure suicide, particularly around Mugello. So, yeah, we're just going to have to see how this all pans out. Of course, the undercut from Dino Brega, Albert and Lucchese, we're going to keep our finger on, because, of course, when everybody comes into the pit lane, they could find themselves much nearer the top 5.
I'm wondering what they're going to do with this number machine that we're running on right now with the 172. Are they going to allow him through? I mean, if Nathan Crook allows him through, that's going to be one position between him and Joe Glass in their class. So there it is. I don't think that he would do that at this point. Look, this blocking maneuvers right there. I wonder if they're even working together, Nathan and Joe. And Joe. Of course, they're not teammates. They're arch rivals essentially on the track. But one thing they are enemies with is the different class. Of course, remember, they're in different classes. And you're wondering if the Evo class would go, I don't want premiers to get past us, do they?
I mean, of course, there's the overall championship, isn't there? So, I mean, you could argue that they don't want to let them pass, but at the same time, if they're going to get stuck into a fight and lose time, then, as that's wide from Nathan Crook into the gravel, it might just be more economical in terms of time to let them through, just to not lose as much time to their rivals. But when you've got Glass and Crook so close together, I presume that they might just end up having a little bit of a scrap together, as Paul Collishaw looking for it here on the South African in the BMW, but he can't quite make the move. I noticed as well, quickly, Yannis Albert, he's at the fastest lap time. They really are on pace.
Oh, he's flying. He's absolutely flying. And Aiden just made an overtake, I believe, on Matt Jones. So that'll switch Aiden up another place through the field there. But look at this. I think more than anything, we forgot about actually showing you that, is that the fact that Branda has to hold off Paul, because Paul's on a rampage right now. So he's got to be thinking about getting past Nathan as quickly as possible. Now, is Nathan's engineer at the moment saying, well, you know what, there's a battle behind you. They're quick. Do you want to get involved? Yes or no? We have 26 plus minutes to go at least. What do you want to do?
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult. They are really line astern here. Is John close enough, though? He looks like he might be able to make a little bit of a move, but Nathan Crook just takes that somewhat defensive line, doesn't he, into turn 1. He somewhat pulls across the line in the braking zone very gently to the point where you worry about going down the inside, but then, of course, there's no room to go around the outside before the braking zone. So it's a nice line that Nathan Crook takes, really, just to hold off that position. You know, you mentioned Aiden Neat. He slipped back. I noticed that his lap time, not last lap, but the lap before, was 6 seconds slower than anybody else. So something must have happened there to Aiden for him to fall so far back.
Right,
but he is still recovering. Marcel is his next target, and he is right on the back of Marcel. The gap is just about 1/10 of a second here. And in fact, he's now ahead and up into P9 ahead of Marcel, and he's made that one stick. So we'll see what Christoph and Ewan do here, as well, as there's fighting up and down the field, isn't there?
They are going for it too for now. And you got to remember, Henry's now in the lead of this race. So Henry's he's got a huge gap over Joe. There he is out of the car. This is huge in Corsa Motorsports. There is Joe, and Joe's got this pack behind him, catching. There's Sean, there's Paul, there's Stitchberry, and the man you mentioned, the big upcoming riser, isn't it? The Frenchman, Christopher Demay, has done a solid job, and he's the man that is eking every little point he possibly can in this championship.
And consistency can win you titles. I mean, it probably won't win him this championship, but consistency can win you a championship. I think it was Will Power in 2022 who only won one race out of 17, but took home the title.
Yeah. But he's Australian, mate, and he's from my home state of Queensland, Australia. Just down the road from him. In fact, him and Lee are good friends because, I mean, I just lived a couple of streets away from Lee Diffie, who commentates there, the IndyCar series. So, yeah, I've met Will a couple of times, but yeah, I can't really get him into the broadcast right now. Go, Will, how do you get it done? No, not that much of a great friend, but there you have. So we're in the same state, Bob. Goes to show you, my friend.
You never know, there's 14 viewers. One of them might be Will Power. I heavily doubt it, but you never know.
No, Will's busy.
There's probably
getting ready for the next season, my friend. They're doing testing and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Either way, Joe Glass doesn't care. He cares about defending against Nathan Crook, and he goes a little bit wide as they run through turn 7, of course, down at Cervelli, and now through the Arabiatas 1 and 2. But this battle, you can just tell that Joe Glass and Nathan Crook aren't as fast as the guys behind them, but not slow enough that they are going to get overtaken here. So it's going to take a lot of heavy work, I think, and maybe a mistake from Joe Glass and Nathan Crook to find for John, Paul, Ewan, Christoph to find their way through. I am also a little bit surprised that Christoph hasn't been let by Ewan. I would have thought that maybe they would have swapped it around. Christoph had much more pace in race 1, but that could always still happen. We're 10 minutes in, a third of the way through race 2 here, and we're still yet to see how it's all going to pan out once we have the pit stops. Because, of course, once we have the pit stops, we might be able to get a better read on where the likes of Tristan, Luke, and Yanis are in this race.
You're absolutely correct on that one. I'm really impressed with Joe and Nathan holding on. There we go. You spoke about it, and you've got it on delivery, Dazza. You couldn't have scripted any better, my friend. Hollywood, pay attention. And Broadway, welcome along to the Evolution Sim Racing on JPB Broadcasting Network.
Yeah, I'm glad. We're getting near halfway, but then again, they're pitting a little bit earlier than they did in race 1. A couple of teammates, of course, in the form of Stitchbury and Demai coming in together, but where do they come out compared to Tristan de Nobrega? Because, of course, he is the man that they realistically are racing it. De Nobrega is coming down the main straight. I think that's a jump in the pit lane as well from Christophe Demai. He's jumped both of them. John and Ewan have both been jumped by Christophe Demai as they come down the pit lane. I think they're on the exit. Where's Tristan de Nobrega? There's Ewan Stitchbury.
It's gonna be close.
How many can Tristan get? He's got 1, he's got 2. I think he'll just stay at 2. But that's where they are. They were right on the back of that battle for P2 here, so, you know, don't just include the 6-7 drivers we had in the battle for P2, add in 3 more.
You called it right there, my friend. And follow Dazza out there in any of the social network, my friend. That is brilliant. A good commentator is the one that catches all the action with the camera angles and everything that we have at the moment. It's the timing sheets. He worked it out brilliantly, my friend. You should be a race engineer.
I think I need a degree for that, to be fair, but or in real life, but I could try my best either way. I'm sure these guys have got their own engineers and they're doing a good enough job if you're Tristan's or Luke's, because they have got themselves right into this battle without really having to make too many moves here. They're going to be far ahead of ABD. As we see Luke around the outside here. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there with Ewan. And Luke nearly danced around the outside there at Arabiata too, but he's not quite made it. But he's got more chances. Not quite halfway through, and these guys are going to be going to the end.
This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Other drivers are going, look at this scrap at the moment for these leaders because they haven't gone into pit road yet, my friend. They have not gone in here. Henry, Joe Glass, and Nate and Paul, but they remember Henry's way up the road there. We're looking at Joe Glass, Nathan and Paul all battling it out there. A few other drivers going to head in the pit road. We all expect somebody to get down there and visit Ted. Ted, over to you. No, sorry, Ted, we're going to cut you off. Over to you there, Dazza.
Yeah, I thought for a second that Henry Nacker had fallen back into this trade, but no, he's well clear. It's just Joe, Nathan and Paul here fighting out for second, third and fourth, but once they pit, I mean, they're going to be coming out probably nearer the back of that battle as well, with the likes of the Nobrega, Breitenbach, Stitchbury, Lutrade. I mean, look at the times there from Demai all the way down to Yannis Albert. That is 6 drivers. They're not outside of a second to each other. Danny Weir, something's happened to him as he is tumbling down the order behind that train
He's
of
had
cars.
a spin.
But
yeah.
was had a spin. Henry Nackery, though, he might be able to come out a few seconds clear here, and he might just be able to drive away into the distance. But you're going to have Christopher Demai chasing him down for the win.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this because you got these 3. This is what's crucial at the moment. Henry, Joe Glass, Nathan, and Paul all have to go down the pit road. 1 second down the road. Thomas Pugh don't take him at that. And the Eden 8, remember, he has some serious pace, but we don't know exactly what happened to him. But when I don't have to go to replays very often for a broadcast, this is exciting. So, ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn. And you want a Netflix series? Guess what? It's called iRacing and Evolution Sim Racing on the JPB Broadcasting Network.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say you could get your caramel bar because, of course, one of the liveries is a caramel bar. But either way, it's Nathan Crook around the outside. He's in his Rolex, but can he get this move on time? Let's see around the outside. Oh, yes. Joe Glass, I think, a little bit of a snap in the mid-corner. Coming through turn 1, he's going to just have to give up that position. Paul is now down the inside. Oh, the spin.
No, Joe!
Oh,
no, Joe, no! Get back in there. And look at that. He's going to back it up a little bit. You've got cars coming around there. Get in there, back in there, Joe. You're going to lose a couple of places, but it is what it is. Remember, you're also battling it out for the Constructors' Championship. You're there in there. Matt Barnett's gone on a pit road. A few of those drivers gone on a pit road. Henry's still leading this race by 4 seconds in change. But Nathan Crook in class. There it is. In class. Leading. Henry in his class, the Premier class. Nathan in his Evo class.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna get, I think, interesting towards the end of this race, particularly in the last 5 minutes, especially if we get the likes of Paul, Thomas Pugh, and Aiden Neat come out in that little train, or that B train, I should say.
Speaking of the
for
man,
what you would call P2. Yeah, here is Aiden Neat. Thomas Pugh is going to come under pressure here. Aiden Neat, of course, he may have had a bit of a half spin about 5 laps ago. But he's recovering well, trying to get himself now up to P4 on the road, and he can pretty much see P2 as well. Of course, still having to pit at some point in this race, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's this lap or next. But we'll see if he can make a move stick if he stays out. But Henry Nackery still just very calmly going about his business, not needing to pit, not worrying about having the undercut. But there he goes into the pit lane. I can't get it right.
Yeah, Henry's in the lead.
We'll see if anybody else pits. Yeah,
Henry's in the pit road.
Everyone.
They're all going to follow in. They're going to follow in. So Aiden's going to be... Oh, he's going to take it on the inside there. That's interesting. I've seen this before. And I hate the camera angles. I do apologize big time about this one. But there it is. It's the best I could actually get you, possibly, actually, believe it or not, off pit lane at this track. And it's so disappointing. But trust me. Nathan, Henry, Paul, they've all gone in. James stayed out. But wow. I was going to say, you had a 6K I rating driver going up against a 3K I rating driver. Does that ever throw you off as a driver if you go, oh my God, this guy has 6K?
I don't know, because personally, mine would be lower than 1,000. So I don't know. But if it was me, I'd be scared if someone that much with that much more of an I rating was up behind me. But it just shows to the credit of the guys like Thomas Pugh, just keeping it nice and calm, nice and cool, and as it is. But let's see where they come out, because Nackery, Demai, Tristan Nobrega, they're all through. Aiden Neat has actually come out in P6. And he's right behind Tristan Nobrega. So all of a sudden, especially with the top 2 not really in the race, Aiden Neat's in P4 here. The likes of Thomas Pugh, maybe he just didn't take time.
Look at the
something
pace.
like that. His pit stop was quicker.
There's Tristan. There's Aiden. There's Tristan. But Tristan's at the back of Christopher. So I apologise because there's a bit of blinking going on at the moment there. And of course, those horrible camera angles. I'll have to get it all fixed up in the JP network there on this track. Because I just mentioned I just purchased it. So those cameras are absolutely horrible in pit road. I apologise. We're being the best broadcasting network on the planet. Well, you've got to get it done here. Don't want to let you down there, Bazza, and I don't want to let all the lovely drivers here at the Evolution Sim Racing getting it done. But excitement's here, gentlemen. We're getting close to about 10 minutes to go. James is leading. Here's the box, but James Bostic is leading. Oh, there's flashing. That's the problem. Trishan is having blinking, and that's horrible because Aiden has to navigate this right now. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I really was worried there. I didn't realise that it was completely out of the race. It's connected or something, but he's still there, just about. Aiden Neat, don't count him out for a possible win here. I mean, even P2, he can see P2 up in front of him with James and James Rankin and Bostock in the pit lane. Everyone will cycle through, but this battle for what is P2 at the moment is really hotting up. Nathan Crook is in there, John, Paul Colishaw as well. Luke Lucchese's a bit off the back. Something's happened to him. Newman Stitchbury is a little bit further back, and Thomas Pugh is on the back of him. So we have got battles brewing here. There's 11 minutes or so, but it's defensive from Christophe Demay around the outside. Tristan O'Brega will go. Can Aiden Neat try and find his way up the inside as well? They're really close together. This is as close as it can get at turn 1 at Mugello, but they're going to stay in the positions that they were. And Christophe fends them off for one more lap.
Yeah, you said Christopher's doing a fantastic job. He absolutely is at the moment. Henry's leading this one. Henry's up the road by 5 seconds. I think Henry's got this one. Somebody shouted that earlier in the chat. Henry, he's good. But the battle for P2 is brewing up big time. Aiden's in the mix. Nathan's just lurking a little bit down the back there. 1 second change, remember, in a different class. Hello and welcome along. This is going to be thrilling, my friend. You got your popcorn?
I haven't, but I've got some bourbons, and they're keeping me company. I've got through nearly half a packet during this race, I can't lie. Aiden Neat, though, is right on the back of Tristan O'Brega. Is he going to send it down into the chicane? He's going to look for it. He is going to put the car there. I thought his front nose was going to be along the rear wheel of Tristan O'Brega, but no can do. This time around, they're still waiting. They're still biding their time. Well, they're not really biding their time. They're still trying to make the move, but they can't do it just yet. All the while, Henry Nackery stretching his legs in the lead. He is 5 seconds ahead of Christophe Demay, who is still picking up very, very nice points here. Like I said, he does it in every 2-race event that we have. He picks up so many points, even if he doesn't win the race. We'll have to see if he can hold on for P2 here. We've got 5 more laps, I think, after this one. Yeah, Henry Nackery will have 5 laps to go.
Look at him. He's gone.
Are we? Oh, no, it might have 6. Oh, we don't know. It's going to be close. But either way, Tristan and Aiden, they're going to be coming for Christophe at turn 1.
And Henry's going to be like talking to the Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen, and going, yep, not a problem. Like, yep. How are you doing there, Henry? Are you going to be winning this one? Yep. There's no problems. I'll have a chat to him, of course. But on the inside there, we'll have a chat at the moment. The battle, and Kura bringing the moment there. Tristan and Aiden. And this is all going, Paul. Oh, there is a power slide there. Can he hold on? No, he can't. Tristan goes around.
That's massive as well. Tristan facing the wrong way at turn 2. He's going to fall behind
his teammate.
Who was that? His teammate, Luke Lucchese, and as well, I think Ewan Stitchbury and Thomas Pugh as he peels back to the racing line. Just about stays in front, I think, but Stitchbury, no. Stitchbury ahead. Pugh is also ahead. But that gives Aiden Neat now a free run at P2 and Christophe Demay. But here comes Tristan around the outside. He's going to get that one done once again for P9. And he's fighting back as much as he can, but P8 might be his ceiling.
Gambled, and you know what? It's not Las Vegas, gentlemen, but it is here in Italia, and we'll see how it's going to pan out exactly for these drivers. This is fantastic. This is a battle at the moment there. Don't forget about Paul. Paul's been putting the Monster Energy 134 machine on the back there of Jean, and so we'll see how that pans out as well, too. So look at that. This is absolutely amazing. You're still going to give it Nathan. Nathan Crook has been hanging in there the whole time since the start of this one, remember, having the reverse grid. He's just wondering, what is going on around me, my friend? Well, what's going on around you, my friend? Battles everywhere.
Yeah, you don't really know where to look. I mean, we did have a slightly smaller grid. I mean, I think we've had upwards of 48, 49, 50 at the start of the season. We've got 35 here this evening. But it doesn't mean we're short on action. There is moves up and down the field. I mean, look at the timing tower as well. You look from Paul Robson. If we might even be able to have a quick look at that battle after Paul Colishaw tries to make the move, because they are nose to tail through the mid-pack behind Paul Robson all the way down to James Bostock, as we see down to Paul. Not close. Here they are.
Yeah,
look at Paul. That's Javier
I know.
Talavera looking for a move.
That's insane, isn't it? That is insane. And I do apologize for those drivers. Unfortunately, we don't have enough camera angles. We don't have enough time to actually bring all that action, because we have to bring in the action at the top of the timesheets. And we are bringing the action because Paul is clawing this one in there. You know Paul's not going to give up on this one, do you? He's got P5 in the mix. And the only problem, of course, is the BMW 172 in his way.
He is in his way, but I'm just looking at the timing towers. They all fly through. Aiden Neat's close. But Robin Aston, I think Matthew Jones are going side by side, and they're right behind James Rankin as well. Oh, that's very close. Just about chopping the front wing off, or the front nose away, and Robin Aston has to sit
But we're
in
going to miss
behind.
this battle between Aiden on the back there of Christopher. You were talking about Christopher, and I think we've got a bit of a fan favourite, of course, because I think Christopher's doing a solid job for the Frenchman. But at the moment, he's got a bit of a problem, and here it is up at the inside. Aiden, we know Aiden, but that's the difference. We've got a 4K I rating driver versus 6K, but don't take I rating into granted, because pace is pace, and Christopher has some serious pace in P2.
Yeah, but Aiden Neat looks like he has a little bit more pace, doesn't he, as they come into the final corner. Is he going to have enough of a slipstream down towards turn 1 to make it stick this time around? There are 6 minutes of the race left to go. I think we're going to have 4 more laps, in fact, of this one, because I think Henry Nacker is going to complete 3 before we get to the timing. In fact, he definitely will. So we're going to have 4 more laps here. Is Aiden Neat going to be able to be close enough to make the move into turn 1 this time around? He's nowhere near close enough to make the move. But in behind, Paul Colashaw on the back of John Breitenbach. Is he going to make the move? I don't think he is either. But, yeah, they're just kind of in formation at the moment at the front. The moves are happening nearer the back, aren't they? Paul Robson and James Pallow going side by side. I think James Pallow's going to get that one done. But look at this, into the final corner. They are side by side. And as they head towards turn 1, Matt Barnett's going to get a great slipstream down towards turn 1 as well. Scott Kostrick isn't far off, and he started last.
This is going to be interesting. Scotty as well, too, had a horrible day. 15 positions gained. Scotty's smelling a bit of this party there at the moment. He's like, I like the smell of gasoline in the morning or in the afternoon or wherever you are in the world with 5 minutes and change to go. Something is brewing up in the mix here, and I don't quite sure you want to be a part of this party unless you're in the positions that you need to be gaining. Look at this. That's James, Matt, Paul. Bingo everywhere here, gentlemen. And we still have a battle at the top of the timesheets as we've got about 5 minutes change to go. Will Nate Holt, they call him in. We also have a battle for P4 and P5, but then again, I'm wondering how much really Nathan's going to hold on that one, because that is what it is. We'll go to the grip tower and we'll go back up to the time of timesheets. And here's another battle, of course, further up in the field there, my friend. That's Thomas Poo and Marcel. Yeah, he's gained 6 positions as well, too. So don't get away for the other South African driver.
Yeah, we'll see how they can all work this one out. But at the front, yeah, there are those little battles, aren't there, at the front. Just a couple, like 2 by 2 really. Christophe de Maille, Aiden Neat, and then John Breitenbach and Paul Colashaw. And then you've got that just train of cars for P17 at the moment behind Paul Robson. But let's see if Paul Colashaw is close enough. Aiden Neat isn't close enough to take P2 off Christophe de Maille, but Paul Colashaw isn't close enough to John Breitenbach either. But these two are both starting to rope in Nathan Crook a little bit, who himself is doing a fantastic job up in P4, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think they're worried too much about Nathan. Actually, it's a solid job, exactly in the Audi. But this is the battle where it's he's not concerned, because it's the battle behind him in the class as well. And you know at the moment, Paul is going, I want P5. Paul started in this position in this race. His P6 is like, you know, I don't want to go back to the boss and say, look, I just gained 1 position. But I have to go back to this one, because I tell you, one person that wants to gain position right now, it's Aiden.
Really does want this position as they come up through Arabiata 1 and 2 now flying up the hill, but he's just not quite close enough. Little wheel into the gravel there for Christophe as they make their way through now down in towards turns 10 and turns 11. He's lurking, he's stalking his way on the back of Christophe de Maille, but he's holding firm at the moment, the Frenchman. I have to say, 2 fantastic liveries on these cars going at it wheel to wheel, but purple machine, Christophe de Maille, is holding off the turquoise and yellow machine of Aiden Neat as they come through 13 and 14, I should say, and up towards turn 15. Henry Nacker is still having his Sunday afternoon drive from the Tuscan Hills, but Christophe de Maille is by no means living comfortably, but he looks like he gets a better exit here off the final corner, doesn't he? He takes a little bit of a wider line into the entry, and it just shoots him off the exit into the main straight. But is he close enough? Let's see. 3/10 is the gap, but he's closing his Aiden Neat.
Let's listen to those gears up and shifting at the moment there. He's getting close, going to get the slipstream at the moment. This is it. This is your run. You're funning it into turn 1. He's going to dummy a little bit at the moment there. Christopher is really, a little bit of a shift change there from Aiden, actually. Oversteer moment in the dirty air. Oh, contact perhaps.
I think there was just a big slide there from Christophe Demay, and it just caught Aiden a little bit unawares, who didn't want to rear-end the Frenchman. But in the end, Christophe Demay held onto it enough to keep the position. There will be one more lap at the conclusion of this one, so the chances are running out here for Aiden Neat to pick up as many points as he can. Of course, took home all 50 points for the win in race 1, but the race 2 points state that a P3 will give you 52, so he's already winning more points than he did in race 1 for the win, but he'd love an extra 7 points, make that up to 59, 109 for the evening, and take home as many as he can, just to give him a good boost for the final couple of rounds. But that's wide, that's the grass, that's the gravel, and it's just not going to plan at the moment for Aiden Neat, but he's still close enough to maybe have a look at turn 1.
He's fighting at the moment. It's the moment. And what would you like to be? I've explained to everybody in the chat. Welcome, of course, DXT Live is back in here. But do you want to be the predator, or do you want to be the prey, or do you want P2 or P3? That's the battle. Henry has this one in the bag. 5 seconds to change. Unless he drives as bad as I do, he's got this one. But does Aiden want P2? And Christopher's holding off brilliantly. How can you handle it?
Count out Luke Chase as well, sorry, on the back of Paul Colashaw, because he is right on the back of Paul here, the South African driver, hoping to make a last-minute move himself, but Aiden Neat, he's got one more chance to turn 1 to make this move stick.
We have to stick with this one for P2. I'm sorry, if you do get it done, Luke might get it done into turn 1. Come on, the last opportunity, my friend, because camera did not have enough time to bring that one, and will he... Look, he's gonna send it. He's gonna send it. On the outside, not gonna work, my friend. Switcheroo.
Would it work though? Ooh, not quite. He had a good run in the first half of the corner, but it didn't quite work out in the second half. Which, of course, I think the camber in that corner works for the outside line as well, so it's not a bad idea to go for the outside line. But we will see into the closing stages now between Demay and Aiden.
Oh, he actually got it.
Is holding on for now, but a little bit wide. He went a little bit wide. Is there going to be a run for Aiden Neat? We'll have to wait on that one. Not quite as they come down the hill. Henry Enquiries, unaware of the drama going on behind him, but their chances are really running out now for Aiden.
Yeah, I think actually Luke had got that one. I'll probably go back and show that replay a little bit later on. But Aiden's opportunity for a P2. Now, if it all goes pearl-shaped, got to remember, Nathan Cook is 2 seconds to change down the road there. That's going to cost you at least those podium positions. But Aiden Nate, 10 positions gained. He wants one more. But Christopher, as you said, one of the newcomers in town, he is going to be brilliantly delivering this performance. But soon, if they don't get the overtake, they've got a few more corners to go and change. That's it. It's game over, isn't it? It's the last lap.
It is the last lap, and I think
Henry's got this.
Out.
Henry's about the road there. Henry's going.
Come
again? What's happening?
Out the final corner. And he's driven brilliantly. He took the lead pretty early on in this race 2, and he's going to cruise up towards the line. And Henry Enquiries wins race 2 here at Mugello, and it's going to be Christophe Demay who comes home P2. Tristan Lebrega in the end was a lap down on Henry Enquiries. Demay and Aiden Neat come home in 2 and 3. Nathan Crook, I should say,
another battle
with a fantastic drive for P4. Matt Hoyland's still going for it. Paul Colashaw has come into the pit lane. I'm not too sure why, but he's going to drop down behind the likes of Thomas Pugh, Marcel Breitenbach as well, Joe Glass, but there's not going to be any changes for position back here. It's going to be Joe Glass in 9th, Paul Colashaw in 10th, and then James Rankin coming home 11th. Matthew Jones and Matt Hoyland in the top 13, with Jack Wyborn and Yanis Albert coming home only in P15. Some more points gained for Luke Lucchese in the championship. Or Yanis Albert will be 14th in the end. But yeah, the gap at the top of the championship, it's coming down.
It certainly is, and the Finnish driver is certainly happy at the moment. Look at that. Henry, good job. Lovely livery for the Black Horse Sim Racing. Got the job done on this race specifically. But you got to give it to Christopher. Once again, Christopher, you said the man always finishes in the points. And he has done it again. And he not just to mention that, he held off a 6K I rating Aiden Nate, who was the quickest man in race 1, heat 1. He held him off the whole time. That itself should give you some brownie points.
Yeah, I mean, himself, Christophe Demay, has picked up 99 points. 89 points for his showing tonight. Henry Enquiries, I believe, has picked up around the 80-point mark. So, yeah, Christophe Demay doesn't need to win, but he's still picking up loads of points. I think he's second again once it... He's second once again behind Aiden Neat this week, but very, very good consistent performances from Christophe Demay. It's why he's doing so well in the championship. But it was Henry Nackery that won the race. Christophe Demay and Aiden Neat second and third. Nathan Crook winning once again in the Evo class. That's 2 wins from 2 this evening for him. John Breitenbach, Luke Lucchese, Thomas Pugh and Marcel Breitenbach in the top 8 with Joe Glass coming home 9th, but P2 in Evo class. James Rankin and Matthew Jones 11th, but P3 with Matt Hoyland and Yannis Albert finishing down in P13. John Ludbrook, Gareth Newton, James Bostock and Alex Konrads in the top 17. That's nearly the top half as we run down to Rob McKee, Matt Barnett and Ewan Stitchbury, who only finished 20th. Paul Collishaw, Scott Kostrick, Daniel Nans, Russell Jakes, Jamal Gandor, Jack Wyborn and Paul Robson in the top 27. And then we've got Stephen Donnelly, Chris Keenan, James Pallow, Robin Aston, Tristan Dino Brega with a horrific end to his race, realistically. Javier Talavera and Danny Weir in P34 with Ryan Ottens, who didn't complete many laps at all. He was down in P35. But, I mean, overall, that is a fantastic night for Luke Lucchese in the championship. And Aiden Neat, he had some fun, but as well, Christophe Demay, he nails these 2 race and evening format events.
Yes, getting it done in both of the events. That's the key, isn't it? One event is, set your qualifying, go up the front there and do your job. But the second event, of course, the reverse grid, you got to get it done through a pack of fields and accidents and everything that occurs. Pit stops, of course, is key because you remember a lot of drivers boxed early. Drivers of the day. And this one for the second race, 8 and 8, I have to say 10 positions gained. Getting that podium position is brilliant, and keeping it clean as well with the drivers. Got to give it back a little bit further back in P15, because we had to also mention likes of John, John Lutbrook. He also gained 10 positions. Gareth Newton. Now we didn't even really show Gareth Newton, did we, in the second race? But he gained 17 positions to finish in P16. Got to give it to people like that. You don't see him on camera, but they do it. And then James Bostick, the boss man. Remember, horrible first race. But the man got that machine back up into P17. So, and we're not just sucking up to the boss. That's legitimate performance.
Isn't it? And I think that's P6 in class as well. So, good stuff for James Bostock. But another thing to mention, going forward for Season 4, in the Evolution Sim Racing, Mugello is going to be the season finale next season, and that evening served up quite a bit of drama. I'm sure we're going to get quite a bit of drama in the season finale in Season 4. So, yeah, looking forward to it, and it's something to look forward to. That's going to be on the 16th of May. So a little bit in the distance, but only 3 months away till the end of next season, which is very exciting. But I see that we've got a couple of drivers in the interview waiting area. So, Dean, should we swap over to Discord audio so we can drag them in?
Yes, sir. Sorry, apologize for my coughing.
That's
I'm
right.
so excited. Let's get done.
See then, I'm going to drag in Nathan Crook first.
That's my race pace right there. I'm rapid.
Sorry, Nathan. I think I've dragged you in mid-sentence there. Sorry about that. We were going to talk to you first because you've won both Evo races. That's a perfect evening for you.
Yeah, I'd say so. I didn't really practice that much, to be fair, on Mugello. I've had, 5 months since I started racing, so the first time around the track, and I'll absolutely take that.
And I mean, you came for P4 overall in race 2.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic achievement. I mean, even in the overall standings, you've done yourself a world of good tonight. But
yeah.
I mean, does that give you confidence going into Kota next week?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's a bit difficult at the minute because some people are lacking respect for me. I feel I could have done better in the first race, but I had to pull out the way. I had to let people past. I'm in a different category than them, so I understand it from their point of view. Obviously, it's difficult because I'm in front of them and they want to get on with their race. But sometimes some dive bombs, they're causing me to lose some time. So, I've lost some positions in that first race and in the second race, to be fair, that I could have avoided. So it would have been nice to see how it played out. And unfortunately, I'm not happy with that. And I'll always look to get higher up the order. I'm not looking at myself in my category at the minute. I'm just looking to be as high as I possibly can in the standings myself. So I'll take it.
That's always good. And also because of course, with your I rating, you'll be in that class for next season anyway. So a couple of the guys that would have been in that pro class, or Premier class, I should say, are going to be fighting with you for points anyway.
100%.
So,
That's what we're sort of, exactly. And, just shout out to my teammate John, because John Ludbrook, what a race he had in that second race. He kept quiet, but my God, was he putting on a performance, I must say.
He got P4, didn't he? I'm just
He
on a
did.
P4, yeah.
Something similar, yeah. And absolute props to him, He's always there. He's always hunting in the background, so big up John Ludbrook. That's all I got to say.
But I mean, you must have enjoyed it overall this evening.
100%.
Because you had some great battles with some guys. And Mugello's just fun, isn't it, really?
100%. I mean, when the first time I raced it on Sunday evening, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I've never even known the track
Look at this
before.
replay right now there, Nathan. You fought it out with Joe Glass and you sent it and you got it, my friend. I can't believe that. Look at the replay. It was amazing. I'm going to actually rewind that a little bit. Everybody, if you're tuning in right now, this is how you get it done. Now, Joe Glass is no slouch, my friend, and explain this one.
I thought, you know what, all I need to do is make sure he stays tight, make sure I ruin his exit speed, and literally all you saw there is his exit speed absolutely ruined. Bless him, we did get some, I think it was netcode, because I didn't feel it, but he did say on the radio afterwards about us touching, so I weren't sure if what happened there. But, as I say, what a brilliant driver Joe is, and I thank him for at least being there with me half the time and racing cleanly, because, that's the one thing I'll always back from Joe, is that he will race cleanly, and that's what gives me confidence to even try these moves.
And on top of it, my friend, we were chatting in the booth there with Darragh and I, you guys were battling it out, of course, with the different classes. So, at the same time, you have the same pace, but, you even communicating, maybe necessarily not as teammates, but, do you let them through? Do you let them do their thing? Or you want to go gold and just go
That's
for it?
the problem. That's the problem, is that I have a lot of people try dive bombing me, so half the time I do have to move out of the way. If I see that they've got a clear pace advantage, I will let them through. And I am vocal when I say it, because I don't want to affect either people's race. They're in a different category. They want to get as high as they can, and I understand that completely. And if I can do that, can help and not make it awful and awkward for them, I will. So, yeah, as long as I don't lose too much time.
Yeah, but you guys were doing that, weren't you? And over to you, Darragh.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, yeah, well done, Nathan. I mean, great result, and it's going to give you a boost for next week and
100%.
definitely to the season ahead.
Thank you very much, guys.
Any sponsors real quick there you want to thank there, Nathan?
I've got a few, to be fair. I've got Luke Lachese. He helped me build my rig. I mean, I can't ask for much more than that. He's done everything for me at the minute. He's helping me with my lap times. Tristan as well. Tristan started me. He started me on this journey. Got to shout out Yanis as well, because Yanis has been my emotional support. And in regards to my teammate John Ludbrook for being pretty quick tonight, and also I'm trying to get better. That's all you can ask for in a driver, so.
Yeah, well done, and we might speak to you next week, depending on how that goes.
So.
But well done, and I will drag Luke in. You mentioned him.
Perfect.
Talk to Luke now. And Luke, hello. You've been sitting on your own for a minute, but here now. It's a good result for you in the championship tonight. I mean, even though you didn't get maximum points, you beat Yanis in both races. That gap is going to be well under 30 points now.
Yeah, no, I think it was a good result. Pity about my teammate. He had some internet issues. And then got disconnected.
Oh,
so,
we saw the blinking. Yeah, that was right. Okay.
Unfortunate for him, but yeah, unfortunately we live. It happens from time to time. So
usually, guys have just to let everybody know out there in the world, the virtual, it occurs as well too. Because I do a lot of Rocket League casting and other esports casting. In South Africa, has fantastic community there of esports drivers and everybody involved in the online community. But you get power outages and things like that as well too. People don't understand that. It's a big problem, isn't it? It's a big problem.
Yeah. Look, we've all got inverters and batteries with solar panels.
There you have it.
So
see?
we
people don't understand that. People do not. They're like, oh, why didn't you just no? But and I'm surprised that you guys can actually commit to so many hours of this lovely league here, as well as the other leagues you could put in there. So good on you for that. When that happens, of course, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because you've done such a good, solid job the whole time.
Yeah. I'm gonna patent a set of pedals that you put next to your pedals, like bicycle pedals. That's connected to a generator. That you can
but you still need the internet, my friend. And if that goes out, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Unless
But yeah, no, I think it
Starlink.
was a.
Hey,
yeah.
you got Elon Musk, right? He's a South African as well, right? Surely he's hooked you up in South Africa.
I'll just pop him a call quickly and get him.
Yeah,
to
give him a
sort me
call,
out.
mate. Elon,
Yeah.
give me some internet. Anyway, go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, but no, I think the race went well. I think I had solid pace. Yeah, I messed up quali a bit, so that was only one lap that I was able to get in. The rest had off tracks. But yeah, actually, the first race actually ended up being quite good. I was able to save my tires, staying there in P4. And then luckily I got ahead of everyone in the pit stop. And then I could just use the tires I'd left to extract the pace out of the car.
But you messed up the race start.
Well
my friend.
done. I mean,
what happened? Go ahead.
Sorry, you're talking to me.
No, it's
Luke.
Dazza. You're cool.
No, I was going to say, into next week, Kota, I mean, you've closed that gap more to Yanis. I mean, is it now really going to be on a position by position basis in terms of even if you're behind Yanis, you will go for the move now because you know that you can take points off of him, and the championship is on.
Yeah, look, it all depends on what his pace is like there. But I think Kota is going to be another track that destroys tires. So I think looking after tires is going to be priority number one rather than being as fast as you can. But yeah, we'll just have to see when we actually start doing some laps there, and just play it out. But yeah, I think the championship is going to get quite close. I think Aiden is sort of the dark horse there, so he'll be stealing wins away from everyone. But all we can do is just plug away and try and get closer to him.
You boxed on lap 1? Am I mistaken?
No, we did. We did. We thought it was going to be the best call. I mean, Yanis as well also boxed on lap 1, and then we were quite surprised because we were putting solid laps in. And then when we came around, everybody else had stopped. We were like, okay, we didn't really jump anybody in the pit stop, so that was a bit weird. But yeah, so right then and there, we got back into the thick of things, and it's very difficult to overtake here. You almost have to line the move up the previous corner and then send it. And me and Ewan actually had a coming together, which was quite unfortunate. I think a little bit of netcode was involved there, but yeah, we'll see what the stewards say.
It was clean racing, I'd have to say, across the board. As you can see, exiting out of the pit there, and you could see you're hunting Aiden down there. And interesting because, once again, up at the broadcast booth, it looks easy. I mean, sorry about the cameras. I cannot get a good pit exit camera out of this track. But you have, I mean, I know you gentlemen strategize, don't you? You and your teammate, you always like go in and out at the same time. And you are running, I mean, and don't take it away from your first race. The Heat 1 race was brilliant. You got past the quick man, Aiden. You got past him. Both of you did.
Yeah, you're talking about Yanis.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yes, yeah. You both got past. Yes, exactly. And then I think that's revenge, isn't it, from the previous races? Because I think you're back out. You're like, oh, we're not going to let Yanis do it. And then you both did it. It took you a few laps. I mean, you hunted him down and you got him.
Yeah, I think he was struggling with his tires. You could see the first part of the laps. It looked like he was getting quite a few off tracks, hitting a couple of sausage curbs. So we could see where the strengths of our car was. So we just, kept it neat and tidy everywhere else and then try to maximize it there. I think he was very nice to me when I stuck my nose in. I mean, he didn't have to leave me the space that he left me. So it was almost like a wave vibe, but not really.
Oh, that was a slide that you both had, actually, so it was something else. Oh.
Yeah, no, that was me with you, and if you wind back a bit, I actually went for a move on you and up the inside there.
Yeah, let's go back. Actually, we can do this live, of course. This is what it's all about here at the JPB network. You can talk us through this one, my dear friend. You want us to get cocked?
So yeah, turn 1, I could see where his weaknesses were, or where the car's weaknesses were. So he had traction issues, so I tried to line him up coming up, and then he went defensive going into the next one where I could get a wider entry, and then my whole idea was to try and send it up the inside because I could see he had to try and square the corner off. And I don't think he saw me actually coming up there, and then when I saw him turn in, I was trying to go even more to the inside. The problem is when you go too far to the inside, you hit these sausage curbs, and they can destroy you. But yeah, I think I kept it quite well to not lose it completely. And then unfortunately, he made contact with Giannis after that.
Oh, but it's entertainment. We love it. So you gentlemen may very much take the Constructors Championship at this point. At the moment, we're not doing it live, but looking good. And
yeah, well,
again, it's Siamese twins. You and your partner.
Yeah.
Who is your biggest feared component right now, as we're getting to the dying stages of the championship?
I would say it's probably Giannis and Aiden. I think week in week out they have the pace. Well, when Aiden's here, I mean they've both been in professional esports teams, so those are the guys that we are sort of trying to match lap time wise. So yeah, that's our goal. I wouldn't say that we afraid of them or anything, but it's more what we can learn from them to actually improve ourselves. And I think from the start of the season, I think Tristan and myself have actually upped the game in terms of pace to actually become more competitive with those guys.
You heard it live from the man that finished in P6, but finished in P2 or 3, I think it was, in the first round. But anyway, over to you, Dazza.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to add. I mean, are you looking forward to Kota next week? Is it a track you like doing?
I actually enjoy Kota. I haven't done much GT3 there, but I've actually raced a lot of other cars, like F1 cars, things like that. So yeah, so my track knowledge is quite good there. So I'll just have to, do some laps in the GT3 and just try and maximize where I can and analyze some data. But yeah, we'll definitely be prepared for the next one.
Nice. And have you got anybody you want to shout out before we end the stream?
Just our sponsors from RDA, RDSA Esports. All our partners, Acertech, Spirit Invest, and everyone else who supports us. Shout out to my parents again. They don't miss the stream ever.
Well, tell them to come and chat to us, please, in the chat, because we love to talk to people.
Yeah, my dad's actually he's 71 and I'm busy putting a rig together for him. So yeah, he'll be on.
Father, are you kidding?
Yeah. You'll be racing one of these days, and I'll get him to join ESR, and then we can pull him into the interview booth. So we can be like the Brayton Bucks, father and son.
Show him how to have a bit of a chin wagging out there on the YouTube channel, please, for the JPB Broadcasting Network, because I love the engagement from family members right there, Daz.
If there's a father-son Lucchese duo, that is going to be one of the best things. That'd be fantastic. But we'll have to wait on that one. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in and watched this evening. It's been a very exciting hour's worth of racing. Next week, as we've mentioned, we're going to be in Kota before the season finale in 2 weeks' time at Bathurst. But my thanks to Dean for being alongside me, pressing all the buttons and making the broadcast. But we'll be back in 7 days' time in the Evolution Sim Racing Championship, where it'll be Isilbear with a very small now championship lead over Luke Lucchese. We'll see if that can come down even more, or even Luke Lucchese can take the championship lead before we get to Bathurst. But between now and then, we enjoy your week, and we will see you next week when Evolution Sim Racing returns at Kota.
Coming down to
Does
the
he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, look at Tyson! Haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!